Hi, my name is Blake Johnson, and I am a student in Dr. Radosh's broadcast class at Alvernia University. Today, we have partnered with Berks Weekly to do an interview on Facebook, and here with me today is Bill Pugh.
Yes, that's correct.
Hello. Nice.
Thank
nice
you
to-
for having me.
Of course, of course. So today, I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit. I wanted to get into this question. What was the moment that made you decide you wanted to get into this profession? And just tell us a little bit about how long you've been in this business as well.
Okay, I've been in the business about 28, 30 years.
Okay.
I served in the Marine Corps in the early 90s, right out of high school. And I've been doing martial arts since I was about 6 years old.
Wow.
So I've been, doing it a long time.
Yeah.
And funny story there was the Grandmaster from Okinawa, where our art is from, he looks like Yoda. And back in the 70s, growing up, Star Wars was a big thing.
yeah.
So I said, I want to be like Yoda.
Uh-huh.
But his name was Master Odo.
Master Road.
So it was a perfect fit.
It
And-
definitely sounds like it.
Yeah, and he was like 4'11" too. So it was. Go on my Facebook page. There's lots of pictures of him and the art and everything. So after the Marine Corps, I started fighting professionally in tournaments and things. And a gentleman by the name of Michael DePasquale, who owned the Action Film Academy, which was a stunt school.
Wow.
Rob Van Dam, the famous wrestler, started from him.
Okay.
Some other big celebrities up in New York, because it's all up in New York.
Okay,
He
okay.
came to me and it's like, hey, I could use you on one of my films. And so I did some modeling. I did some stuff up there.
Okay.
Coming to the action classes, and then he's like, kept training. So after that, how you get started is, you do extra work and, you get an agent
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So now 30-something years later, it's a great feeling to be in the film
That's
business.
beautiful. That's beautiful. So my next question for you also is there a particular role or film that you feel truly defined your career or changed your direction of work?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because I love doing action films. I love watching theater. I love art itself, painting, drawing, calligraphy, those type of things. But I never did theater.
Wow.
I never did. I mean, in grade school, I did some in school, but
Yeah.
I never got into it because I always loved the action. I love
okay.
the stunts, falling, fighting, those kinds of things. So. I did a lot of that.
Okay.
And then I did some character roles that really got, it was tough,
Yeah.
mentally and physically. So I was like, yeah, I could do this.
Okay,
It was a
yeah.
challenge,
Yeah. But you accepted it though.
Yeah, I accepted
Yeah.
it, but like I love doing the stunts and fighting that action, being that superhero.
Yeah. So what was like your first job? Like was it stuntman coordinator? Like was it
No.
actor or like?
That came much later.
Okay.
My first couple shows that I got onto was there was a guy named Mike Lemon casting out of New York City.
Okay.
And Meredith from Amerifilms casting.
Okay.
So I got on like Sex and the City, Law and Order, NYPD Blue.
One of my
You
favorites,
you
Law
get
and
jobs
Order.
like that. Yeah, it's fun getting on set, learning how the cameras work
Right.
and the angles
Right.
and
And
how
all
to
the behind the
speak and
scenes.
all the behind the scenes stuff. And basically you get whatever it is, 120 or $80 a day. Well, back then it was like $50 a day.
Yeah.
But you go on set, you learn, you get paid, and you move on to the next one. So did a lot of that.
Okay. That's
Because
nice.
movies can't be made without extras.
Right.
Yes, you have your two lead roles or your main cast,
Right.
but background and stunts.
Is what really makes it a movie.
Exactly.
And gives it that
you
like
need that people. You
in real
need
life.
that.
Yeah.
And only now, after so many years, like the stunt industry and SAG and all the award shows are giving recognition to those extras and stunt people and the people that
Good.
make the body up of making a film. Not only the
100%.
lead actresses and the actors. So.
Right. Everybody plays their own part.
Yes.
No pun intended. So which role do you like more though? You already said though it doesn't really matter though, does it?
Well, I am getting older now, so I can't be jumping out of buildings and flipping cars and stuff like that. So there's a lot of creative, and I just love the creative process
Yeah, it's beautiful.
of making a film, whether it's a short, whether it's a feature, whether it's a big time movie, whether it's a thesis for someone like yourself, you
Right.
know, going to college and this is what you want to do for the rest of your life. I try to help everybody that I can.
Right. That's beautiful.
But
Quite
there were
noble.
some roles that I had to prepare for more than others.
Right.
Because normally with being fit and being a martial art teacher, I'm pretty good at staying healthy and, you know, being fit for the part, for the action stuff. So I can go on
Right.
a set and people call me all the time, hey, can you come and do this set? We got 5 guys, blah, blah, blah. Boom, give me a couple hours rehearsal. Boom, we'll get it done. And it works out great.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Others, you got to prepare a little bit more.
100%, yeah.
There was a film probably about 4 years ago we did
Okay.
called Cup Full of Crazy.
Couple of crazy.
And it's that. Jillian Bullock was the film producer and director. She's out of Philadelphia. We filmed it mainly in Philly and Bethlehem.
Okay.
And I had to play a serial killer.
Oh shoot.
So, but it was good because I just got off the set of Glass in 2018.
Right.
So I got to work with James McAvoy, Samuel L. Jackson,
Whoa.
Bruce
Samuel
Willis.
Jackson, wow.
And I actually had several roles on that film and some stunts. And so I watched James McAvoy. He was the Beast. So he had to change personalities.
Okay.
Like 8 different personalities in one, in one
one
shot.
movie, yeah.
And
Oh,
it
one
was-
shot?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And one, because the Beast, he was schizophrenic and he had multiple personalities.
right.
So with his dialogue, you know, you got to get. That's why I said about the method acting, where you got to get into your brain and change character, and that's hard. to do.
Right. It's hard to do with one. Imagine
exactly.
imagine 8 like
Yeah. So
goodness.
now I didn't have that many, but I wanted to bring reality to the role.
Right.
And the director, which you'll find is different on every film set or TV show, will give you some creative process, you know,
Yeah.
leeway.
Yeah.
Some won't. Some won't.
Really?
Some will nope, we want it this way, and you got to say word for word.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and either way, that's fine.
Yeah.
You got to be professional.
That's true.
But she was like, let me see what you bring. So I was doing my lines, and I was doing and I was watching how James McAvoy was doing it, and you know, from other movies. I love movies, so you know, older movies,
Right.
and you know, Silence of the Lambs, you know, some of the horror films, you know.
Okay.
But I love Alfred Hitchcock because it's some of the subtle differences that he would do just by like tilting your head or looking in a crazy way. That's like brings so much volume
Right.
to like your character.
Yeah,
So
100%.
that scene that I had to do, we had to do it about 15 times because the cameraman kept moving the camera because I was doing something. They'd be like, and they would move the camera because I was scaring them.
Right.
And but they loved it. They loved
Right.
what I was doing. So it
That
was a
attention
really
to
good
detail.
film. And just like anything else, you got to do your homework.
100%.
You got to practice.
Got to.
You got to
Reps.
put more into it. You're going to get more out.
Right.
So that was one of my favorite, you know, other than all the martial arts,
Yeah.
you know, characters that I've played.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. So my next question is, so Convergence.
Yes.
So as your role as Hitman number 4, just wanted you to get what did you gain from that, and just tell us a little bit like what that
Okay.
kind of entailed.
Convergence was a local film here in Reading.
Okay.
By a film director named Joey Lisa.
Okay.
And like you, he was a college student and he wanted to do a film. So I've done a bunch of other horror films, and he reached out to me through mutual friends and was like, hey, you know, we got some car chases. We want to shoot some people. We're not sure we're going to how to do it, but we'd like to do it.
Right.
So I wasn't just Hitman 4.
Right, okay,
I
okay,
was kind of fight choreographer, stunt coordinator.
Oh, okay.
So I helped them pull the process up.
Okay, so they were asking for your help. Okay,
Yes,
gotcha.
absolutely.
Okay.
So,
and then
I-
you also got a role in it too. That's
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah. So they were like, okay, well, can you drive one of the cars? It's going to be a car chase. We're going to shoot some stuff, and then you die. Because, you know, real life, when someone gets hit, shot, stabbed, not trying to be gory, but, you know, it is not very pretty.
No. Not in the slightest.
It's not going to sell. It's not going to like, ooh, what's next?
Right.
You know, and that's the purpose of films. You want them to, first of all, buy or look at your films or rent your films
Right.
or
Grab their eye, 100%,
You know,
yeah.
and that's why we do. It's entertainment.
Right, 100
So
definitely
how
is.
do we make something bad look good?
Right.
So they knew I could die pretty good, you know, because, you know, there's, you know, just like acting, you know, there's body movements, body mechanics,
Right.
you know, when you get hit a certain way or when you're sad, how do you look?
Right.
Well, that's facial expression, certain muscle tones, and you know, when you're talking, when you're angry, your lips move differently.
Right.
There's a whole science behind it.
It is.
And so that's why most people call me, because, you know,
You understand that. I feel like you're a perfectionist in that. sense.
Exactly. And I've spent, I don't want to say a lifetime, but I've spent a lot of time working, studying, trying to perfect that art to basically make you look good.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so when they ask you to die, there's a certain way, and they're like, whoa, that's cool. Wait a second, how do you do that? You know, and so that's my job.
Right.
You know, my job is not to upstage you or you know, stage the person I'm working with. My job is to make him look good for
Right.
that scene.
Right.
Whether it's fighting, whether it's a love scene, whether it's a caring scene, whether it's a funeral, you know, whatever the case may be,
Right.
that's what you're all there together to make that
Right.
the
to execute.
entertainment.
Right. 100%. 100%. So my next question is for the show Flower.
Oh.
So when I was doing
Great
a little bit of
times.
research on you, it said that you were in the season 2, episode 3 of, and then that show was called that specific episode was called Wedding Day.
Yes.
I just wanted you to discuss your role in that particular episode and what you liked or didn't like about it.
I'm sorry I'm laughing because so what happens a lot, let me just back up a little bit. So independent film directors, major directors, whatever, when they have TV series, every series is different. They call new actors in for casting calls and things like that. So if you're not a major role in it, it could be anybody, you know, in the thing. So they called me up and they were like, hey, we heard about you. We don't have a major part, but would you like to be part of the series? And I was like, sure. How much does it pay? Like $50. All right, cool.
Why not?
You know, yeah, why not? Because I like to be diverse. So they were like, we want you to play an crazy Eagles fan.
Wow.
A crazy Eagle. And I see your Baltimore there.
gonna say,
But I didn't even have any Eagles jerseys or anything like that. So I was calling my cousins up because they're big time Eagles fans. And I got 3 girls. Okay. So I'm watching iCarly. I'm watching Barbie, SpongeBob. I ain't watching no football.
Right.
You know, I you know, and I'm training a lot. So I'm like, I got nothing for Eagles.
Right.
You know, so finally my cousin let him wear his jersey. So I get on set and they're
you
like,
wore his jersey on the show?
I wore his jersey on set. Because it was a low budget, you
Right.
know, and a lot of times on independent films, you got to bring your own wardrobe and things like that. That's helping the filmmaker out.
Right, with their budget, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other times on bigger sets, you get paid to do different wardrobe changes.
Right.
You know, that's
Yeah.
part of the perks.
Right.
You know. So we're filming that day, and they're like, "Okay, here's your lines," and I had to chant EAGLES Eagles. You know, like the
Yeah,
you know
the
when
chant.
the chant.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is embarrassing or not, but I couldn't spell it to save my life. And I'm out there, you know, acting EAGELES Eagles, you know, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we took about 15 takes, 20 takes, and the director was laughing so hard that I couldn't spell. And he's like, "That's perfect, because first of all, you're drunk,
Right, you're supposed
You
to be
know, when
crazy,
you're
yeah.
crazy and you can't spell."
Right,
He goes,
delusion.
"We love it. We're keeping it." I'm like, because. You know, I want other people to hire me, so I was like, man, I can't spell.
Right.
But that
be
that
fair.
happens though on set. You know, you bring who you are
Yeah.
to what you're doing,
Right.
and it works out.
It does, right?
You know,
usually,
so
yeah.
that was a good experience.
That's hilarious.
You know, yeah, it is. So sorry about the Baltimore.
It's all good. We go against them in 2 weeks anyway, so.
All right, trust me, I won't be watching.
I always say. So my next question is that do you have any upcoming projects that you're excited about?
Yes, I have actually a couple films on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime right now.
I think Tubi too.
Yeah, Tubi's on. Yeah, and again, there's so many different facets of this business.
For sure, it
I don't do
definitely
distribution. I don't sell the DVDs. I don't, get that producer
Cut.
where you're going to see this stuff at. Sometimes I don't even know.
All right.
I get paid. I do, I come on set. I do my, my whatever role I'm doing, or if I'm setting up the action scenes, and then I go back home. Then I work on the next project.
Right.
I don't always get to have that hand in it,
Mm-hmm.
which sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's like, man, I want to see it.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
But
Like, hurry
so
up.
on, there's a movie called The Shift
Okay.
on Amazon Prime, Hulu. There's a bunch of other platforms that on.
Gotcha.
It was like a vampire werewolf film.
Okay.
Low budget. I like to do a lot of vampire stuff. They're fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fighting.
Yeah.
Weapons. Like Underworld,
I always
Blade.
watch Twilight Zone
Yeah.
with my parents.
Yeah. So, those kinds of things are really fun to do. But the one that we just had, it's called Killer X.
Okay.
We're really excited about it. We actually had a showing of it down here at the Reading IMAX.
Oh,
we had a really sold out show. We had it really good. It's a Hollywood film.
Okay.
Parts of it actually was filmed here in Reading.
Whoa.
We did some of the scenes at Juliana's restaurant.
Okay.
And then they own a warehouse where we did a lot of the fighting scenes at, too.
Right.
So it's winning Best Action Film in New York, Jersey, Pennsylvania, all over. We're winning Netherlands, Holland, Germany, all over Europe. It's distributed.
Dang.
We got a
Worldwide.
deal with Regal Cinema.
Okay.
They're showing it in all the cities across the United States. Some of the main actors. The film is produced by Jose Torres. He's
I think I've heard of
film. He's a martial artist.
Okay.
And how I met him was, and it's a side note. When the Olympics were trying to get in the films for karate,
Yep.
back in 2004, I was on the U.S. karate team.
Whoa.
To go to Greece to kind of try out to see if karate would be something that people would do.
Right.
Dr. Jim Thomas held that group that was trying for the Olympic Committee.
Oh, sweet.
So I got 2 bronze medals fighting for the United States. So that's where I met him at.
Okay,
And then
okay.
many years later, he's big in it. So he was like, Bill, he runs a podcast called the Extreme Martial Art Experience.
Okay,
Really great
sweet.
podcast. He has a lot of big time stars on it.
Okay.
And he came to me, he's like, Bill, I know you've been in this business for a while. Can you help me out? So long story short, it's a good action film. It's on Amazon Prime right now, doing really good.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to definitely check it out.
It's in Walmart, Barnes & Nobles, the DVDs.
Okay.
Muhammad Kisei's in it. He's one of the lead bad guys. He was actually Tong Po in the Kickboxer movie.
Tong Po.
Tong Po.
Oh.
William Christopher Ford's in it, who was one of the original bad guys in the Karate Kid movies.
Okay.
He's also on Cobra Kai series right now.
I've seen Cobra Kai too.
Yeah,
I like that.
Elaine,
Yeah.
He's the guy with the really long hair. He looks like Japanese-ish. So he's a bad guy. He's
Okay.
always plays a bad guy.
Okay. Is that season 4 or season 3? Or is
Actually, I don't know. I didn't even
Okay.
watch it yet.
okay.
So again, I work too much.
Yeah.
I don't always get a chance to watch stuff.
Right.
But Elena, the girl, she was one of the Black Power Rangers back in the 90s.
Whoa.
So she's in it. And then myself, and then one of my top guys, Lawrence Walters. He's like my right-hand man.
Really?
I got him into the stunt
Lawrence
business.
Walters?
Yes.
Okay,
He's
okay,
in
okay.
it too. And of course, I'm in it. I play a
Right.
role. And we do a lot of props there. They break beer bottles over my head, and they beat me up, and all that kind of stuff. So it's
all that kind of good stuff.
the one part was funny was they flipped me and she's beat me up, and then my boot fell off.
Oh,
it
shoot.
wasn't supposed to happen, but the director loved it so much because it was so funny. Like
Right.
she literally kicked me out of my shoe.
Out of your boots. He's like, you got to keep it.
Yeah.
You got to
So
keep it.
but again, you got to know how to fall right. You got to know how to react and make the things look good.
Right.
Even with props, breakaway weapons.
Right.
I'm an armorer. I'm a licensed weapon master. So
Oh, sweet.
I'm very critical on set. So that without
Somebody-
saying anything, but without having any accidents
Yeah, I was
happen
gonna
on
say,
set,
yeah, safety
I'm
is
very
100%, yep.
safety is 100%. So,
Gotcha, yep.
so that I got probably about 10 other projects that I can't talk about
Wow.
that are in the mix that I'm working with, Zoom calls,
Wow.
going on set, training the guys. We did another one called Warrior Island.
Okay.
James Jefferson was the director.
Okay.
And I'm the action director. I created all the stunts, the fightings. Now, we have some of the world's leading martial artists on set.
Whoa.
Silvio Somac was one of the leads for this film, and I got to work with him extensively.
Okay.
Silvio Somac works with, like, Scott Adkins. He's in all the big he's in Jet Li movies, Jackie Chan. They're, like,
He's
big
worked
time
with them.
star.
Wow.
Yeah, he's big times.
How long has he been around usually?
He's 54.
Okay.
So he's been around for a long time, too.
Yeah.
He's out of the UK.
Okay.
So I got to work with the Viking Samurai, who's another big martial artist. But, like, Stephen Hayes was on there, William Chow, Alan Goldberg, a lot of, like, the old-time martial artists, like William Chow, Ip Man, you know, those type of people.
Yeah. Okay. That's sweet.
Sorry, we could be here for hours.
Nah, we can. I love picking your mind apart, and I'm learning a whole
There's a lot.
I know. So my next question is that I wanted to get into your favorite stunt that you've done.
Favorite stunt is being kicked through a wall, getting thrown out of a car, you know, weapons play, sword play, those kinds of things. I like knives, so I do a lot of fighting with knives.
Okay, sweet.
So-
Sweet. That's not kick through a wall though. So, but okay, thank you, Bill Nye.
Yep, no
Appreciate
problem.
you so much, and I'm sorry. Thank you for watching. And thank you for taking part. Thank you for your time as well.
Oh, yeah,
I appreciate
absolutely.
you so